Good evening, sim racing fans, and welcome to part 2 of our Friday night doubleheader on LSRTV, live for the virtual Talladega Superspeedway. It's round 7 of the Season 5 championship with the iSuperSpeedway.com racing series. Tonight, the world's fastest lap, 212.089. There's a little bit of backstory behind that we'll talk about as the night goes on. Right now, the driver's working through a 5-minute qualifying session as we welcome you into the LSRTV broadcast booth alongside of myself, Andy Kessler, and Jared Haggerty. My name is Evan Pasoko. We welcome you in. And guys, coming off of an exciting truck race, Andy, we get set to hit the big track for another endurance event on the Season 5 schedule.
Yeah, you got to love these endurance events. It brings out the the ability to concentrate, especially at a Talladega. These high speeds, you're running so close to one another, 2 lanes, sometimes 3 wide. You got to pay attention. You got to focus, and these 2.5 mile laps just seem to take forever. And when you're talking about an endurance race, it's all about staying focused. You talk about pit stops, green flag pit stops. It all comes into play tonight. We're going to see that into effect.
And as this qualifying session winds down with single car qualifying 1 lap at a time, we throw things down now trackside for the opening ceremonies, the singing of our national anthem as we get set to get underway tonight.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
A big thanks to Jaden Berkey for singing our national anthem tonight. So the world's fastest lap, 212.089. We get set to get underway for 212.8 miles. Now the story behind the race title, Bill Elliott, the speed record here at Talladega, set in 1987 at a speed of 212.089 miles an hour. Qualifying in the books, guys, not quite that fast, but a good one for Rodney Wofford. As we take a look at the starting grid, the number 7 will start from pole position with a 49.713 on time. Outside on him in second, up at the 88, Mark Jorgensen Jr., second in the trucks. He'll start second tonight, the Nationwide Chevrolet. Ron Flagg on the inside of row 2 will start from third. It'll be Chris Passini outside in fourth, and Jason Altmans in the number 51 will start in fifth.
Starting 6th tonight is going to be the number 96 of Chad King. The number 48 of Josh Ball is going to roll off 7th. Number 2 Wrangler Chevrolet of Donnie Giratano is going to roll off 8th. Number 12 of Corey Henry is going to be 9th. And rounding out your top 10 is going to be the 07 of Derek Walker and the Jack Daniel Chevrolet starting in 10th.
The Menard Chevy of Mitchell Reeves will start this race in 11th position. 12th to the number 94 Machida Frank Musilia. That's a familiar looking number 94 Ford Fusion on the outside of row number 6. 13th spot tonight going to go to the number 24. It's the Baby Ruth Chevy throwback paint scheme for Josh Hanner. Outside on him, the Snickers number 4 back in line, but it's the Busch number 4. Kevin Harvick's 2016 paint scheme on board with Tommy Hall. Josue Ramirez will line up on the inside of row number 8. The Bacardi Chevy is in 15th.
Rolling off 16th tonight is going to be the number 93 of James Pileski. 43, 17 Lesson Team rookie is going to be 17th. Jeff Biglin, number 96 is going to start 18th. The 11th, Kelly Dahl is going to be 19th. And round out your top 20 is going to be the 5 of Tanner Mann starting in 20th.
John Turner will start 21st, 22nd, Ramon Evans 23rd, Glenn Hedrick 24th, Matt Bontempi, and 25th, Dana Osborne.
26th, Daniel Ferguson. 27th, Dan Harrington. 28th, Larry Camp. 29th, Eugene Vernon. 30th is going to be Ray Rittenauer.
Final 2 cars, but down to time in qualifying. 77th is Justin Anderson, Matt Quick in 32nd. We'll round out the drivers that put down a time. Christian Peterson back in 33rd. 34th is Seth the Merchant. Ryan Keese scheduled to start 35th. 34th, or rather 36th, apologies, to the 64 of Alex Halliner. And then Kent Connolly in 37th. All the drivers that attempted to qualify for this race are able to make the grid as we get set to go underway. It's round 7 of 18 on the Season 5 Championship. We close in closer and closer on the start of the iSuper Chase. It's a man that's been to victory lane many a time so far this season that'll lead us to the green flag. The pace car down and away. We're glad to have you with us on LSRTV. Second week in a row in Talladega, Alabama. We get set to get underway. Wofford gonna bring them through the tri-oval. Green flag dropped from the flag stand. Green flag in the air, and we are underway for the world's fastest lap, 2:12.089. They race under green flag conditions, trying to get these guys up the full song to turn 1. Already, you're not clear. The 2 of Giratano comes down. Not much of a choice for Josh Ball to back out, or they take everybody out.
Yeah, what happened there on the beginning, the field got really spread out as the number 6, it looked like, Jeff Biglin got to the back of number 93. Checked up the whole outside line. The outside line was not able to form up or even get close to even forming up at all. As you see, everybody just diving to the bottom, trying to get in line as they come out of 4th there. That's going to be the strategy tonight. You got to make your car last to the end and make it last all 80 laps if you even want to have a chance of coming to the win here at the end. And right now you got the guys trying to form the line on the outside with looks like the number, I can't tell who's on the outside right now from this view, but right now you got Rodney Walford right there in first, the red flag right behind him as they come out of 2 down to the backstretch.
And the outside, as you come to expect, begins to slide back. The 48 Josh Ball spit out of line. The 12 will hang on as well, but the second time already, Josh Ball, big problems in the corner. And again, corner exits where you're allowed to start pushing. The 12 gave him a shot, and that car broke dead sideways. He's able to hang on to it somehow, but it's going to cost him a lot of time.
Yeah, it's going to cost him a lot of positions right there. Almost losing the front pack with the draft here. He's going to be able to get into line here as the replay comes up on your screen. Just a quick little shot there. Doesn't take much on a corner exit. These cars are already really tweaked to the max here. So one little shot like that, you can see what happened. Great piece of driving by the 48 machine of Josh Ball there, and able to gather it all back in as the field now heads back into turn number 3.
And these guys going down to turn number 3, I mean, they're racing right now like it's the last lap. You see the high line is trying to form there with the number 1 at Chris Bassini leading on the outside. He was actually doing a really good job last week when we came here, and he's proven that late in the season he wants to get a win to make sure that he ensures his victory in that chase. We got a car slow down the front stretch. It's Tanner Mann, the number 5. Tanner Mann slow. It looked like he got loose in the tri-oval, and that's going to have big implications for him. He's going to lose a lot of spots.
Had some problems in the truck race. Not a good start to the iSuperSpeedway night for him as he falls back down the running order. So the outside had lost time. Now they start to gain some back. It's Rod Flag up on the outside of the racetrack right now. Take a look at that number 26 machine. This is an interesting scenario for Flag right now, as a little bit of trouble behind him. The 94 car of Frank Busilia up the hill after being scored in 11th the last time by. Caught the fence all by himself after getting a little bit close with Josue Ramirez into the corner. But you look up at Rod Flag, he leads that outside charge. There's only 4 of them, but 4 of them close and tightly packed together can challenge the inside. They go door to door for the race lead. Can Flag get around at a 2 and do anything with it?
Gonna try right now. He's got Bassini right behind him, trying to give him some sort of help there. The 96 of Chad Keene also in the mix on that high side. Not going to be enough, though. They're going to stay door to door, heading back into turn number 3. Still with the advantage, though. It's at 88 of Jorgensen.
Yeah, Jorgensen's got that good advantage. He's just got a nose advantage, but don't count out the number 26 or Rod Flag. He is what we call your dark horse right now, but dark horse or not, he's being really aggressive early in this race. He wants to take the lead as they come through the tri-oval. It's complete lap number 6 here as they head off into 1. Rod Flag's going to be going for the lead here as he's got help behind him with Chris Bassini.
They go from 4 cars, now it's 5 up on the outside of the racetrack. The 1 to 96 to 12. Now the 07 hops onto the back. Derek Walker now becomes that 5th car on the outside line. Inside behind that 88 of Jorgensen, you got the 7 Rodney Wofford, who was your pole sitter starting the night off. The 51 of Jason Altman sits in 3rd right now on the bottom. 5th overall, but he started in 5th. The 2 of Giratano, the first driver on the inside of the racetrack that started on the top. And again, we saw how he got down there, almost taking a nose off the 48 a little bit earlier on, but nonetheless, he gets in the spot. Look at the 88 Jorgensen from the race lead, sideways to the tri-oval, and he saves it as he comes back up, now spinning back down to the apron. He will gain control, but we had a discussion earlier with race control. This is a loose setup, the 88. I don't think he got the apron at all. It looks like, Andy, that car just got sideways on him.
We're looking at the replay right now. Yeah, he just flat out. I mean, no one was on his bumper. It was just got loose right there. Just a kind of an odd thing right there. We will note, though, that bottom lane, that extreme bottom lane on that tri-oval there is almost flat. We talk about this place having the high banking, but that bottom lane can really be tricky for a lot of guys, and especially if you not quite have the perfect setup in your machine right there. And that's exactly what happened there. Just flat out got loose on his own. Did a great job again. We've seen that twice now of drivers doing a great job hanging on to it, and he did it right there.
Definitely did, but right now we're going to turn our attention back up front. You've got the number 1, Chris Bassini, challenging for the lead now, trying to take that spot away from the number 7, Riley Wofford. He's got a lot of help on the outside. Chad Keen, he gets a little bit close to the 51, Jason Altman's. Altman's, that's a name we've not heard in a long time. He's been taking, I think, a 2-week break here. And it's good to see him back here in the series, but right now he's making his presence known now as he's the second car in line down there on the bottom side. Chris Bassini's going to lead that lap, going down to 1. He's going to take the lead.
He gets clear. He's yet to drop down, though. He wants the 96 to come with him, and with that, the opportunity will cease to exist, as the 96 behind him is not able to get clear, so they don't drop down to the inside. Still Rodney Wofford on the bottom of the racetrack, dragging that inside line. The 1 clear again. Again, though, opts to not drop down. He's got a lot of support behind him. Donnie Giratano loose and 3 wide. We go in 3 and 4 after the Wrangler Chevrolet had a bobble into turn 3. Again, they recover, but again, a close call.
We're just absolutely seeing some amazing
driving. Trouble! This is number 11, Kelly Dahl. Rod Flag's in it. Caution flag is out.
Dahl spins down, more contact, the yellow flag already out as they dive and scatter to try to get around all of that down to turn number 1, and they do so. But the caution flag will fly, and again, guys, into the tri-oval. It's very, very bumpy on the bottom. They're trying out a little bit of a looser setup, and it's like they're driving on black ice. That's a 6-car incident.
Man, that was just... Again, it was just a matter of the car getting loose. Nobody was near the 11 at all. And that car just broke loose coming back down. It looked like he tried to come up, turned it slightly back down, and that just bottlenecked the whole field. And from there, it was just a big, big mess of cars. Unfortunately, some other cars got a little piece of that. 33 of Larry Camp included the 21 of Glenn Hedrick. A few guys that had a good shot at winning the race here are now junk, and now they're going to have to use that one valuable reset that they have.
And we talked about in the Truck Tour race that it is an open setup race, and those guys are allowed to fit the car to their liking, Andy. I guess the general consensus is you'd rather have a loose car than a tight car, because a loose car is a fast car, but I mean, you know, we were just on the radio right now talking with the driver of the 48, Josh Ball. Again, we spoke to him earlier. He kind of previewed this race for us as he served as our driver analyst for the first part of our doubleheader. He has been one of those guys struggling to hang on, and he says there's just no grip at all.
Yeah, no grip at all, and it's just they're all going to have a chance here at pit road being open, come down, make some tweaks to this thing, but it's a handful and puts it in the driver's hands. We talked about it in our first race in Chicago. Drivers have, having full control and having, the ability to basically dictate what's going to happen and where their car or truck's going to go. And one thing, you don't want a tight race car when you're at Talladega or Daytona, to be a matter of fact, but you also want something that's comfortable. And if it's scary loose on these guys, which is what we're hearing presently at the moment, that's going to be one tough thing to hang on to all night long.
Yeah, it was definitely the opposite in the truck race, I will tell you that much. I mean, when I was down there in the trucks just a few minutes ago, it was a very, very tight setup, and as a driver, having a loose setup on a fast track where you're going over 200 miles per hour, lap after lap after lap, it can wear on you, and these guys, it's no exception for them. They're going to have to go 80 laps tonight. This is why this is an endurance race. This is so important that you're able to make that car last throughout the whole race. And not only that, but be able to hang on to it for 80 laps, Evan.
These drivers down completing service. It was a pretty bad trip down to the pit lane for the 51. Not even close on entry. It's going to mess up Jason Altman's on Speedwise. Chris Passini in the number 1 car came down pit road as the highest running driver in the field. He came down all the way to the end. He filled it up, got 4 tires. He'll be the second driver off of the pit lane. Actually, it looks like Sim is scoring the 7 to Rodney Wofford in front of him. So Wofford and Josh Ball will be the drivers that beat him off of the pit lane. How about Josue Ramirez, though, the number 75, staying out from mid-pack, your current race leader. A lot of the time in these restrictor plate races, it is very easy to overlook and forget about the fuel strategy aspect of it. And for the most part, when we have our feature races, which is where you see the B main and the A main, it's not mainly a concern if you get a caution. But in these endurance events, which we're seeing here tonight with 80 laps at 70% fuel cell, can be a big factor, and that's why I think you're seeing most of the guys, they want to come down, they want a full fuel cell, because this thing can break out into a long green flag stretch at any moment. They want to be able to go as far as possible. It looks like the 75 taking a gamble could be worthwhile because he picks up 14 spots from it.
Actually, Evan, I'm going to give a little bit of a correction here for you. The 75 actually came down, and it looks like he only got a gas and go. So, interesting strategy for the 75 here with just the gas and go, no tires. But we've seen time and time again in the last few weeks where tires are a big factor, Andy. And what do you think about the call with no tires, just fuel? I think Andy's having a little technical issues. Evan, what do you think about that call?
Well, it wouldn't be the first time that we've seen somebody do it, or in that fact, the 75 in and of himself. So he does stay out, essentially, does not come into the pit stall to get tires. Fuel only, he gets back out there. He's your race leader. Josh Ball, the other driver that blew everybody else by quite the amount of time in the 48 to get out there. He, on a 2-tire call, takes the race lead, and then you're going to have everybody else on 4 tires on back. And a driver's Andy continuing to discuss what these cars are doing, and again, they're loose, and it would be okay, I think, if we're at Daytona, but Talladega, a lot rougher.
Yeah, it definitely is, Evan, and I don't know. I've been heard that the 2 tires actually makes you even more looser. So I don't know about the 48 strategy here. Maybe the 75 Ramirez, maybe that's a better call at the present moment to not take any tires. But I don't know. Maybe Josh Ball has something else up his sleeve as far as that. Maybe making a little tweak here to set this thing straight.
Lap 13 will go into the books as we cycle at a quarter number 4, and Josue Ramirez going to be in control of the field as the pace car makes a sharp left-hand turn down to the safety of pit road. A long trip at 80 miles an hour. Pretty high pace speed that we see here at Talladega. They cycle through the travel down to that yellow line, which if you're doing that under green, it's quite treacherous conditions. Green flag flies back and away we go. How about the outside? Josh Ball wins it. And again, the outside a lot of the time beats that race leader. Ball, though, can he get clear? I don't think so. Ramirez holds the nose and then he'll bring it back on the bottom.
Yeah, he'll hold the nose right now, side by side with Josh Ball. Bassini on the outside, trying to give him a little bit of help. To the 96, a lot of close quarters there, right off the corner exit there. A lot of cars wobbling back and forth here. But top side right now, they're suffering a little bit as Wofford giving a great push to Ramirez. He's pushing him out to the front into 3.
Yeah, Ramirez is getting a great push, and he's got a lot of help from team affiliate Rodney Wofford. Rodney Wofford, Wicked Motorsports, those guys have been strong all week or all season long, and Wofford's going to leave the 75 hung out to dry with authority, and the closest person to him is going to be 51. He slides up to him right now, but it's too late. Wofford takes the lead going into 1.
And the outside, not the first time they've gotten the advantage. What do they do with it, though? This time, Wofford up top. Now Ramirez brings it back right there. Corner exit. If you're on somebody's bumper, these things don't line up nose to tail like the COTs. It is very easy to find yourself in hot water, and it looked like those guys on the top side may have had a very small scare. The 7, though, is able to maintain the top, though they don't get that big run down the 24 degrees of banking that they would have needed, and it's going to cost them a little bit of time. The 7 up on the outside of the racetrack is not able to make it. They'll stay nose to tail, but as the 32 degrees of banking, rather, for that matter, Andy, a lot of the time if the outside's going to do something, it's on exit because they power down the hill as opposed to on the inside. They almost have to go up the hill. If they're going to do it, they have to time that corner exit push as close as they can, but the rule's not allowing them to push in the corner, and there the 75 gets sideways. Oh, it looks like Altman's, he'll make it 3 wide, but that costs the inside a lot of time. 7 and 12, down they go 1-2.
Yeah, a little bobble right there by the 75. He's able to get back in line. Altman's able to split them. He gets back up to that 3rd spot right now.
Oh, trouble! 07 to Derek Walker comes around. Hey, slams. Caution flag is out. Oh, no caution, actually. But there should be a caution. The rule states if there are more than 3 cars in an incident, that will be a caution. So, but nothing yet.
It looks like a single car accident out of the corner. A couple of their guys below the yellow line, but only 1 car majorly affected. It's the 07 to Derek Walker. The Jack Daniels machine gets back going, heavily damaged on the left side. No caution though. Sim not throwing it because it was below the yellow line. Race Control not throwing it because it's limited to just 1 car. Outside for the race lead. Take a look at the 12 car. Corey Henry. He tries to power through. He runs out of steam though, the 51. 1 car length back. Can't give him the extra push, and Wofford maintains.
Yeah, that was a huge move. It was a huge move right there off in the corner, and Wofford's going to end up taking the lead here. Corey Henry on the outside. He's got a little bit of help from Altman's. Not enough, though. 3 cars on the bottom. Seth the Merchant right in the middle of that sandwich, and they're going to power off of turn number 2. 3 of them now going to not quite clear him there. Josh Ball, he's going to still be side by side right now with the 12 of Corey Henry. Altman's trying to give him a little bit of push. Here comes Bassini now with that 2nd pack of cars. They're now back into the picture.
Yeah, those guys, those top 5 up at the front really should have gotten single file a lot earlier, because that would have been able to, they would have probably been able to build a gap there with those cars running right behind them. But as we see right now, the effects of that is actually Chris Bassini and them have caught them. Now he's going to go to the outside with his teammate, number 96 of Chad Keene. But Seth the Merchant, the 42, jukes out Rodney Wofford. It's going to be Seth the Merchant to the point now.
To the 42, all the way from 34th on the grid. It is the Target Energizer Battery Chevrolet to the top spot. He sits now in front of Josh Ball, and again, Wofford, not like he sits down on the bottom, gets past and rides in line, the 7, right back up to the top side of the racetrack. He wants to get things going again. The 1 machine just behind him. Right now, they sit about P4, P6. The 24 getting up into the mix as well. Josh Hanner, a quiet night, but in a throwback, Jeff Gordon paid tonight. That car sideways in the tri-oval, pushes up the hill. The 7 recognized that it was good news that 7 saw that coming, and Watford gave him some extra space. Again, a close call, and if they ride up above that first set of white hash marks, Andy, in the tri-oval, they're fine. But once you go below that, it's not really the bottom there. It's like they throw another lane in there and it disappears by the corner. You can take a look on board Christian Peterson, the number 71, up at those next 4 cars down in line. But it is just so bumpy. These cars really struggling to just hang on through there. It's almost like a whoop section in Supercross.
Yeah, it does get a little bumpy on that bottom side there as we're watching still Christian Peterson, I should say, doing a great job here, coming from 33rd on the starting grid all the way up to 6th now. So biggest mover so far of this race is definitely that 71 car. But yeah, you talked about that bottom lane. Like you said, as soon as that tri-oval opens, it's a brand new lane that just shows up, and everybody drops to the bottom, kind of just following that yellow line. The problem is, like we talked about, that it's almost flat and there's a little bit of a bump there. So it can really upset the car rather quickly, and we've seen that already a few times here tonight.
Yeah, we've definitely seen that a few times here tonight, but it's, in my perspective, as a driver going through that tri-oval, especially with this new build package, it's basically like riding on ice skates. We got caution on the speedway, Evan. I can't see who it is. Who is it?
And it's trouble in the corner. It's the big one. Alex Halliner, one of the drivers around in the middle of it. The 25 slides down the hill to a halt. Multiple cars involved back in the pack. Caution flag is out. This all starts with a battle around the number 88, Mark Jorgensen Jr., the first driver to go around in the corner at the time, was running at 18th, and they were quite a little bit of a gap back from that race lead. So they were in a secondary group per se, and it all just starts on the outside. They go into the corner, and this one, it looks like he gets turned. You're looking at the replay now. Halliner goes up the hill a little bit of net code, turns Jorgensen around, and when you got the track block like that and a whole lot of cars coming, a lot of guys didn't stand a chance.
Not a chance at all. Just a big pack of cars there racing hard, and looks like Halliner just kind of pushed up just a little bit, whether it got loose or a little tight right there in that corner. A little air swirling around, got that car upset just a bit, and got into the 88, and then that was it. That was all she wrote for everybody else that was right around that area.
And now we are quarter distance through this race, and with that, we step away for a moment. Seth the Merchant going to come down to the pit lane, a routine stop for service for all your race leaders. You're watching the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series World's Fastest Lap 212.089. Homage to Bill Elliott's lap record here, speed-wise, at Talladega. We step away for a moment at quarter distance.
Truex in the outside, contact made, 56 slides it at a 4, who's going to be at the stripe, dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Back live at the Talladega Superspeedway. Lights still on the pace car as we pace here for the second time tonight. Just past quarter distance at round number 7 on a Season 5 campaign with the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series. The world's fastest lap, 212.089. Coincidentally, 212.8 miles. Start to finish in this one. Dan Harrington is your current race leader. The number 27th place on the grid is where he has come from and now leads this race in front of Donnie Garitano and then in front of Josh Ball, the number 48 machine, the next driver to take a look at, who comes down to the pit lane and got the regular swing of service, we'll say, as along with everybody else. The Merchant came in, he had problems, the 48 out and away, 4 tires, not a whole lot of drama there. Jorgensen comes out pit road, and I think the Nationwide Chevy guys may have gotten a penalty.
I'm not sure if they gotten the penalty, but I mean, he's way back there in the pack, and as we've seen, that's really not where you want to be. I mean, you can be up front and get in a wreck, and as we just saw in that last caution, you can be in the back and get in a wreck. So there's really no safe place for these guys right now on track, but I'm really impressed with that number 82 of Dan Harrington. I mean, he's making a gutsy call right now by not coming in and getting anything, but he came in on that last stop, and I think he knows what he's doing here. But I'm really happy to see the number 82 up there. I really like that old school paint scheme, the Zelda paint scheme. Legends of Zelda, I think it was, Evan.
Evan wasn't born at that time.
He's not.
So this
old
goes
enough
back
for
to our
that.
conversation earlier then, huh, Andy? I
Yeah, it
see.
does.
Okay, yes, I'm the old guy of the broadcast, so.
No, you're not.
Andy is reluctantly going to take that title. We take a look at some of the wave buys going around. It looks like Josue Ramirez, he'll rejoin the lead lap. Sean Turner, I believe that the Under Armour Chevy as well getting a wave buy. So those guys going to rejoin the lead lap. That leaves Ryan Keese, Rod Flagg, Kelly Dahl as the 3 drivers that are 1 lap to the negative. Rod Flagg in a number 26 machine onto the pit lane with damage. Not currently behind the wheel of that machine. That could be a big issue for the number 26. I know we talked about him in the race earlier tonight for the trucks as far as leading those points, but coming into tonight, Rod Flagg not yet with a win and a very small advantage over the cut line of just about 2 points. A early retiration for that driver could be bad news. Still a lot of races to go, but Rod Flagg for the second time tonight, things not going the way he would like.
Yeah, it's just like we talked about with the 88 of Jorgensen last week, having a rough time in the trucks, finishing in the 30s, and then not making the A main last week here at Talladega. That's just almost unheard of for the 88 machine. So I guess when it hits you hard. And tonight, unfortunately, point leader in the trucks having Rod Flagg, he had issues over there, and now again here trying to make that cutoff line for the chase, and he's having issues here also. So tough break for the series admin, Rod Flagg. But listen, it comes in storms, and that's why they put in those all invaluable drop weeks.
Well, when it comes to a storm, we're going to see a windstorm with the Legend of Zelda here at the front. Okay, Evan, you're too young for that reference. But
Yeah, I'll just nod along with you guys.
You're just going to smile and nod, Evan. Smile and nod. Just take. You can take us to the green here.
Rattling.
It was. Yeah, just take it. I'm going to let you take us to the green, Evan.
Well, after all of that, we go from being at a quarter distance into this one, a little bit closer through. 25 laps will be in the books when we come by this time through. That'll leave us with 55 laps to go from Talladega. The pace car down to the way. Dan Harrington going to get a shot at leading this race on the inside of the front row. Going to bring us back to the green flag. Outside, you find the 2 of Donnie Garitano. Pace car down, green flag flies, back and away we go, and this time the inside, the place to be. Outside, small checkup as the 2, a little bit slow out of the gate. The inside, half a car length down to the inside for turn 1. A little bit of a gap between Glenn Hedrick and as well, it looks like that 24. Somebody's got to take advantage of that gap. No, yes, Jason Oatmans does it. He ducks down, and no help up top for the 2 machine.
Yeah, he's out to dry right now, at least for a couple car lengths back to Randy Wofford. That bottom lane, though, look at Josh Ball giving a good shot to that Zelda machine as they head down into turn number 3. Good job on the top 3 there. Look at Hedrick, 21 car. I haven't talked much about him. in the last couple weeks, there he is sitting third off of turn number 4.
Yeah, and it looks like Dan Harrington might be able to lead his first lap of the season here as they come to lap number 27. Oh, I spoke too soon! He got loose there going into the turn. Josh Ball leads the lap. He's on the inside, and he's not going to be able to make the turn.
They go from single file, and again, it's the first car in line that gets sideways. He goes all the way back because he's forced to keep that thing on the inside and on the apron through the corner. No way that he can blend back up with traffic and not get into somebody, Andy. It's interesting because a lot of the time, and before tonight, when you're just talking about a regular handy race car, if we consider this one abnormally loose, is the guy that gets loose, as you take a look at the replay, is not normally the first car in line. It's normally a guy behind who's trying to chase that car in front of him, and they make some abrupt wheel maneuvers in the corner trying to follow them through it, gets the back end unhappy. But I mean, tonight, the race lead not the place to be, and with that, Josh Ball takes the point.
Yeah, I'm not going to jinx him there, just like Jared just did. But, no, yeah, like you said, it's usually a car somewhere trapped in the middle because, you know, he has no air on the front. No, we have trouble! 21's around. Hard into the wall. Hendrick from the inside lane. He's down into the inside wall. Still going green here, though. No caution, but that was a huge wreck right there with the 21.
And I don't think we'll see one. That's 2 cars involved. Jason Altman's, Glenn Hendrick, not 3. They're on the apron. The sim not going to throw it, and it looks like we stay green. And that's what I'm used to seeing is that second car in line, but really, that all comes from Josh Ball chasing up the hill coming back down.
Garantano had trouble. He was leading the race again.
Like flies.
The place to be is not going to be the front now, Evan. I mean, that is 3 laps in a row. We've seen the leader just get loose in the tri-oval and go to the back. So right now it looks like the place to be is not the lead. And, I mean, I want to see what happens to Ronnie Wofford here. I'm really scared he's going to, wreck here.
And Garantano, again, you took a look at that first replay. We'll take a look at the 2 in just a moment as they work around some lap traffic. Again, just the inside, the race lead in general, but if in specific the bottom lane, I wouldn't be surprised if guys start bailing and jumping out to the top side just so that they make it through this one, because the inside, I mean, that was 3 different incidents in 3 laps, just as many, and more than 3 cars were involved. The outside, you get the better hand that time through. Lap number 29 goes down. We start lap 30, and on the outside of the racetrack, down the back straightaway, the 24 Hanner shoots down to the inside. Again, things getting a little bit squirrely, and these guys feast off of this anticipation and this animosity because we see time and time again. One race that I immediately think of is when we went to Daytona 07, Andy. These guys on a rough racetrack like that, essentially, that's how these cars are handling. Things get crazy. You think they back it down and take it easy. They feast off that, and they go just as hard. And, you know, you look how tight these guys are. This is the closest they've been all night. Well, it's been, at the same time, the most unstable they've been all night.
Yeah, it's almost like we had a major winter down here in Alabama with some frost evening on the racetrack. You expect to see this at a place like New Hampshire or Chicago, anywhere north. You know, we just saw Chicago earlier tonight with the trucks and bumpy corners, things like that. But you don't expect to see that here at Talladega. It's typically pretty smooth. It's definitely not the racetrack that's doing it, but these cars definitely unstable tonight. Drivers doing all that they can to keep a handle on this thing, but corner exit and through the tri-oval's definitely been where we've seen the most trouble.
Yeah, these guys are just riding on, again, the riding on ice skates is like a, oh man, I can't even talk right now because these guys are just so loose in this tri-oval. I'm on board right now with number 24, Josh Hanner, and just watching his wheel right now as they go through the turns right now, it's impressive just to see what these drivers are doing, just because when you go into that turn, and it's just, I'm noticing you're turning in just the slightest little bit, and once you come off that corner, if you don't make that transition just right, you're gonna either put yourself into the wall or put yourself into another person racing beside you. So it's just really hard to judge what these guys are thinking tonight.
The 48 down on the apron, a small bobble. He'll save it again, but more problems for the second time tonight from Josh Ball. That's going to make 3 wide in the middle of the pack, and this might not be good because there's nowhere for them to get out of the 3 wide. The 24 in the middle, 4 wide, lap traffic, there it is! Big problems, the 24. He'll get turned into the outside wall. Caution flag will fly, and I said there was no way out of the 3 wide, and when you hit a lap car at the wrong time, that's exactly what happens. Fife had nowhere to go. He comes down, takes out his teammate.
Wow, and that was by no means the fault of Derek Walker right there. I mean, that was just probably the worst time that 3 wide could have occurred in the pack, and Walker was as far up as you could possibly get. And again, I just feel really bad because there was nothing that he could do there, as those cars were 3 wide right there. And again, there is room for 4 wide there, but with the cars being this loose right now and the setup being like this, it's every man for himself, and unfortunately he was at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, it looked like there I think coming off the corner there, the 5, you know, he didn't see the 07 until it was too late. It looked like maybe his view was obstructed by the 2 cars that were in front of him, and I just had to react at the last second. It was either not hit him or hit everybody else, and he ended up hitting everybody else.
Now, that tears up a lot of fast cars. The 24, he's junked. He'll go to the back. And again, a lot of these guys up front still have the ability to use that quick repair. Again, you're allotted 1, but for some of them, that might be it for them.
Yeah, you need to. I'm just riding on board right now with Tanner Man, like Andy said. And what you saw happen was Chad Keene was in front of him. The last second, saw the 07 coming, ducked down, and again, there was just no time for Tanner Man to react. By the time he saw him, he just ran right into the back of 07, Derek Walker, and it was on from there. But right now, we got a new race leader in the number 12 of Corey Henry, and Chad Keene again was the one who snuck by there. He's going to be running second. Rodney Walford's going to be in third. Josh Ball, the 48, is going to be in fourth, and a name we hadn't talked about in a long time, the 83 of Ramon Evans. You know, he's having a great run, started in 22nd and is all the way up to 5th, Evan.
Pit stops on the way. They are led by that 12 of Corey Henry. As you said, he'll power off on 4 tires and feel he'll be the first car off in the pit lane. No problem for him to come on through. Meanwhile, a lot of other drivers trying to get some wave bys and get caught back up. Major chaos and the confusion and scramble continues at Talladega. Closing in on halfway. We'll step away for a moment. We'll be back from Talladega in just a few. You're watching LSRTV's coverage of the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series World Fastest Lap 212.089 from Talladega, Alabama.
Did you know that Lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
Back live and still under the caution flag with Josh Ball leading the way right now in the number 48 machine. In front of him, just back, you got the 12 Corey Henry, the 96 Chad Keene, Ramon Evans, and Rodney Wofford through the top 5 at the moment. Still 32 drivers, though, sit on the lead lap in this race. Closing in on the halfway point in round number 7. The world's fastest lap, 212.089. It's been a question of if there's a layer of black ice out on the racetrack. A new setup, again, fixed setup as always. And, you know, Jared, you'll know this as a driver as well. They always make tweaks and such, trying to find the right combination. They told these guys at the start of the race, it's a loose setup, and, man, they weren't kidding.
Yeah, Rod, he continues to be one of the most creative organizers that I know of any, like, league in iRacing, because he wants to challenge these drivers, and he wants to make sure that everybody coming in has at least that good driving skill and the skill needed to run with the big boys, so to speak. And he's showing right now that you have to be a very talented driver to be able to compete in this series, because as we've seen, some of the big guys who've been dominant all throughout the year are just having the hardest time keeping this car straight.
Gonna end up mixing up the points quite a bit, and talk about them trying to make it challenging for these guys, and you got to, you know, we run at 2 different tracks in this series, alternating weeks, and sometimes cars when they jump into the IROC series. So you got to do something. It can't be the same thing week after week, or you're going to see the same people dominating week after week. So I like the fact that he will do that. Will step up to the plate and challenge these guys with something different, and that's what he's doing right now. And you know what? Honestly, for everything that's gone on tonight, 32 cars on the lead lap, we're doing just fine.
It'll be 3 laps shy of halfway when we go back at it, and that leaves us still with a large possibility of a lot more action to take place. The pace car dives down of the way. It is going to be Josh Ball in control of the field. The Lowe's Chevrolet on the inside of the racetrack waits and waits. Green flag flies, and back and away we go. Great start for both the inside on the outside, making a dead heat, but advantage top side. Corey Henry by 13/100ths of a second. Squeaks it out up top. He's got help from behind, the 83 Ramon Evans, but everybody in uniform side by side through the pack down in 1 and 2.
Everybody doing a great job hanging on to it there. A little 3 wide action around that 10th spot there. Going to back it off just a bit, get everybody back in line. Chris Bassini right in the middle of that in that 1 machine. But, yeah, still side by side for the lead, heading back into turn 3.
And these guys, they're running really, really hard. They're just trying to get to the inside right now. They want to make it to the end. And it was what you saw earlier with that guy going high. It was actually number 13 of Eugene Vernon. He's not been around here for a long time. I guess he would be a rookie in this series and not heard that name before. But the 13 is actually showing his teeth when he could get up front. But right now we got a battle for the lead here. It's number 12. He's going to be going for the lead here. He's got help from the number 83 Ramon Evans. And look who's on the outside right behind them. You got the Wicked Auto Sports Machines. The number 71 of Christian Peterson and the 42 of Seth the Merchant. After that unfortunate incident happened to him a little bit earlier, he's back up here in the top 7.
Top 7 indeed, and a lot of guys going forward, a lot going backwards. Your top 4 started all inside the top 10. From there on back, it's Ramon Evans from 22nd. It's Tommy Hall from 14th. Peterson from 33rd. DeMerchant from 34th. Those 2 drivers keeping it locked in tight with each other, trying to continue to move up. Look to the high side. The 96 Chad Keene, he doesn't want second. He goes to the outside to get a push from the 12 car. He wants to take the race lead, and that's 4 on the bottom, 3 up top for the lead draft.
Yeah, it makes a bold move to go up to the top there. A little bit loose off the corner there. It looked like the 48 was. Wobbled just a bit. Able to stay in the gas, though. Wofford giving him a nice little push down the back straightaway. It looks like the 96 of Keene's going to have to drop back down in that bottom line. Going to push up just a little bit. Leave the bottom open. The 71 trying to squeeze his nose in there. Not going to happen this time. Single file now, the top 5.
Yeah, the 96 wanted to help his teammate, the big city guys right there. It's Corey Henry wanted to help Chad Keene, and Chad Keene wanted to do vice versa, but there was nothing he could do because Keene had to make that move up there, but unfortunately when he came down in front of him, it just was a little bit too late, and that caused a big checkup, but right now it doesn't seem to matter. It's the Wicked Auto Sports affiliates. They're all on the outside now. They were looking to take away the lead from the Hannerich Chevrolet of Josh Ball.
And the outside trying to pull something through, down and clear. He'll take over the race lead. The number 7, Rodney Wofford, back to the top.
Oh,
there goes the 48. Josh Ball turned around in front of the pack, hard into the outside wall, up and over. He goes for a wild ride. That car will come to a rest on all 4, but not before tumbling down in 3 and 4. Another caution flag, another problem for the 48 tonight.
Man, oh man, and Josh Ball, he unfortunately just cannot catch a break tonight, and that's the second time we've seen him have bad luck throughout tonight. I don't know what happened there. It looks like, actually, I'm going to see the replay right now as, yeah, Keene just got a huge, as the replay goes up, Keene actually just got a huge run going into turn number 3 there, and he just got a big run and just gave Josh Ball a huge shot as just got the left rear quarter panel, and it was on from there.
What we see with that incident, again, a case of the cars and the bumpers don't line in and up because the 96, the 48 on the bottom, slightly up the hill goes the number 48. He comes back down that slightest bit, but again, it's not the 96 pushing on the left rear and spinning him out, Andy. It's more of just that little bit of ground that the 96 makes up. It's almost like the 48's getting turned off with the 3D Chevy emblem on the front of the car. I mean, it's just a little bit, but because they don't line up, you see a lot of that, and a lot of guys refer to it as bumper hook, and you have that equation where you got cars making contact like that, plus the car hasn't had a whole lot of grip for the entire night to start with, and it just doesn't work out very much.
It's actually a recipe for disaster, Evan, and what are you going to do? You know, you try, especially no pushing in the corners here. You try not to, but we always talk about you're trying to time that push as soon as you get off the corner, and you know, maybe it was timed a little bit too early, but you know what? Listen, it's going to happen. You're going to have these problems, and like you said, with the lack of grip that these cars have here tonight, any little bump like that, especially when the guy's maybe the guy in front's turning the wheel just a little bit too much at that time. Just it all spoils a mess, and that's exactly what we just had right there. Just fortunate that 48 car, man, he went for a ride, a few tumbles, a few flips right there, and getting hit by a few other cars.
Well, unfortunately, the 48 is, I think, going to be pretty much done. But one thing that's not done, our weekly segment coming on here, Haggerty's House of Horrors, where we pick the top people who we think are going to win here halfway.
Andy, don't pick Josh.
Yeah, Josh, I think, is done there. So I'm going to go ahead and throw out an underdog here, somebody who's been up there but has kept his nose clean all throughout the whole race. I'm going to actually pick the number 94, Frank Busilia. He's actually been riding towards the back a lot lately, and he every run, he seems to always fall back, and I think he's just biding his time right now because Frank knows how to run this car and he knows how to get to the front. So my pick's number 94, Frank Busilia.
I just like to ask, did you just call a series champion an underdog? Just want to clarify.
Yes, I did for this one, but I mean,
No.
he is good, but I haven't seen what he can do tonight with this setup being as it is. So we'll see once he gets up there.
All right, Andy, you're up.
I got a real underdog for you. Gonna take a miracle for this guy, but I think he's got it in him. The 26, Rod Flagg. He's got a long way to go tonight, but That's an underdog.
He's 22 laps down. That's not fair.
They
You gotta
might
pick another one.
they might roll a new car
No,
out.
no,
I
no,
don't
no.
think it's possible.
No, the rule is you gotta pick somebody on the lead lap. Come on.
All right. All right. Let's see then. I don't know. Let's pick one. Actually, you know what? You know, somebody who was I don't know. I guess I wouldn't call this guy definitely not an underdog, but he's been quiet, but he's been moving pretty fast here tonight. Is the let's see, who do I want to jinx? No,
Well, you didn't jinx him last week.
I really think that 7 car. Honestly, through the tri-ovals, off the corners, he seems to be the most stable. I don't know if it's he was able to tweak something in the setup or something when they're on pit road during these pit stops, but the most stable car I definitely would see out of the front runners is definitely that 7 or Rodney Wofford.
All right,
Well, I'll
Evan,
tell you
it's
what,
all up to you.
Tanner Mann is in 5th spot. It's his first start in quite some time. He's in 5th. He's in the number 5. I would not object to seeing the number 5 come in here, win a race, and maybe try to Kyle Busch blitz the field here in this championship. We'll see. But he's running in 5th at the moment. So with that, we cross over the halfway point. We're working lap 44 of 80 on the evening. So let's take a look at our iRacing Midway Race Break, brought to you by iRacing.com, the leader in motorsport simulations and the official sim racing partner of NASCAR. Your race leader, Rodney Wofford, the number 7, sits atop the spot. Started on pole. That's exactly where he sits at the moment. Behind him, Christian Peterson, 33rd to 2nd. Seth the Merchant, 34th to 3rd. Those guys attached at the hip, as they'll be 2nd and 3rd for the next restart. Tommy Hall sits 4th and 5th spot right now. Tanner Mann.
Yeah, running 6 right now, having a decent, quiet race right now, starting 36, running 6 is the 64, Alex Hallinar. Jason Altman's running 7th right now, 8th to the 96 of Chad Keynes. Ramon Evans in the 83 car, he's running 9th. And Chris Pacini in the 1 car is rounds off the top 10.
11th is going to be the 43, Stephanie Lessentine. 6th, Jeff Figlin is going to be 12th. 94, Frank Basilia, 13th. Dan Harrington, 14th. And Sean Turner is going to round out 15th.
16th spot is James Pileski. Daniel Ferguson is 17th. It's an 18th for Corey Hederby. Eugene Vernon back in 19th. And 20th is Donnie Garitano.
The 8 car of Dana Osborne runs 21st. 22nd is the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. 23rd is the 33 of Larry Camp. The 20 of Matt Bontempi is 24th. And 25th right now is the 24 of Josh Hanner.
Derek Walker is going to be 26th. 27th, Kent Conley. 28th, Ryan Keys. 29th, Mitchell Reeves. And 30th, Ray Rittenauer II.
31st, you'll find Justin Anderson. It's Matt Quick, 32nd. Josh Ball, 33rd with a new race car. And back out there, one more life left to that machine. He's the final car on the lead lap. 1 lap down, 34th is Josue Ramirez. Glenn Hedrick is 35th position, 16 laps down and out of the race. Rod Flagg out of the race as well in 36th. And Kelly Dahl in 37th to round out your 37-car field. Still with 33 cars on the lead lap through now 45 laps. Going to be 35 to go this next time by pace car. Gets down and away. It's the 7P1 to 71 up on the outside. Wofford's going to wait until they drive through the restart zone, and when the green flag drops, he goes. But again, the outside has it at the same time. There's no advantage. And how about Christian Peterson? He gets going and blows him out of the water.
Yeah, but what happened there is the 4 from Tommy Hall. He got a huge shot, and it looks like Tommy Hall actually screwed up the front of his car there, and that's going to have big implications for him. He's not going to be able to lead a pack now. He's going to have to get down to the bottom as quick as he can.
Yeah, that was a crazy move right there. The 4 car, Tommy Hall, really got into the back of the 71 there in that restart. And it looks like everything's good as far as race control is concerned. The problem is the 4 car dropping like a rock right now, all the way back, almost going to find himself outside the top 10 here momentarily.
So with that, the 71 comes down in front of the inside line, takes the lead down there on the bottom, and now it is all single file back to that 4. As you said, Tommy Hall got into the back of the car in front of him. We saw an incident like that in the truck race. We thought it would be a major issue. It wasn't. It looks like, though, in this case, when you're doing 205 miles an hour at your slowest, then that aero damage is a problem. The water machine, he gets out of line. He's got to get around him, and I think Tommy Hall is really starting to push, and he's losing a lot of speed down. Continues to sink back to the outside. He ducks in line to 36. Can he give him a shot? Because you just can't get around him. That car, it's damaged. There's nothing he can do about it. And with that, that actually shoots Sean Turner out of line. Turner going to be a big loser in all of that. Now, if you're the 4 car, your concern is not losing spots. It's losing that race car. You get a little bit of damage on the front end. Watch your temps, because you could be seeing some engine issues a lot of the time. Even though it's minor, you hit somebody on the front end, those engine temps go up and you can have an engine failure.
Yeah, but what I'm noticing right now is that this is actually the first time the entire race that we've seen everybody single file like this all the way back to, it looks like, about the 20th position. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to be the first person. Yeah, definitely was. But I mean, right now these guys getting single file. I mean, it's very good to get to the lead. They should have been doing this in the beginning, and then they wouldn't have had so many wrecks. And that's what I was saying before. If you can make your car last to the end, you have a better shot winning. But a lot of these guys, they just don't want to wait, be patient. And right now, the guys who are patient are the ones up front, and that's why the 71 is actually up front leading at this point.
The age-old saying that you can't win it on lap 1, but you can lose it on lap number 1. Well, you can't win it in the first 79 laps unless you get a caution, so I'll say first 74 to cover that little backdoor in case you guys want to point that one out. But you can lose it. You know, you got to make it to the end. It's about making that car last. We talked about the possibility of getting green flag stretches. How these guys came down, they pitted, they fueled up after a caution that only lasted about 7 laps at the beginning of the race, because a green flag stretch can break out at any point. If we're going to see one, Andy, it's got to be now, because I mean, everybody's strung out with the exception of about P9 or so. You find the 96 up on the outside, so it's actually going to be P9. Yeah, Chad Keane, he's got the 1 behind him. These are the only guys up top, the 96, the 1, the 93, and the 12 machine. Those guys back in 11, 12, 13, 14, those are the only guys that are on the high side. As you go on board with Seth the Merchant down on the inside on the front of the racetrack. Everybody else up here, single file, minding their own business. If you're going to go green, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, you got to stay in line, stay single file, get the most speed you can. You know, it gives the guys room on the outside if there is nobody there. That when their car does get upset, they're not going to get into anyone else either. So maybe right now it's all the drivers just collectively deciding amongst themselves that now's the time we got to ride and work this thing out. We'll settle this thing when it gets down towards the end.
Well, right now, I mean, these guys, it's the time to work with your teammates, and it's showing that having a teammate here is going to be or at least a team affiliate is really important here. Is you got the 71, the 7, and the 42. Those are all Wicked Auto Sports affiliate members, and they are showing their teeth here as they can continue to lead throughout this race. Next set of teammates you got are going to be the 96, the 112. Those are the big city guys. And those guys are actually running really good race here tonight. They haven't been able to work with each other a lot together, but so far this season, the team factor really hasn't been that big of an issue like it was last season. Evan, what do you think is the cause of that?
We saw a lot of the time last season coming into the chase. Somebody gets a win, the team's got to go, and their main objective is to get each other in. In this championship, as the 71, you see that car showing a little bit of a tight condition, going up the hill to try to avoid really giving it some real get looses. You know, we're 7 races now in. If you include tonight in that count, that's still a long way through, a long way to go to the cutoff, but really not a lot. And the races this season, I think by far and large, the nature, the complexion of them, if you've been tuning in on Friday nights, you'll be able to see that it's just, everything's chaotic. I think to a point, the competition level continues to increase. A lot of rookies, Andy, we saw added to this series in the offseason. I think a lot of guys, although they want to help out their teammates, they got to worry about themselves first. But right now, this team doing great up front.
Yeah, and we've seen it a lot, too, where teammates will push each other on the outside. The first car will get cleared, and he'll leave his teammate to dry and just drop down in front of the line. So teammates are not, we've seen a lot of different styles of driving per se in this season. And I think that, yes, your teammates are going to help each other out, but I think right now it's it's all about winning, getting the races, the wins, and getting yourself into that chase. Because without being in the chase, you have no shot at the championship. So, as we get a little car, the 83 now loose on the tri-oval. Looks like he's going to hang Ramon Evans now. Looks like he's going to hang on to it, able to keep that thing going straight now. But another car in the tri-oval getting loose. The 83 having problems this time.
Yeah, the glass, the black ice continues down through the tri-oval. But now look at this, we got some cars on the outside starting to form. It's the number 94, Frank Fusilia, my pick to win there. And that old school Bill Elliott paint scheme, he's going to try to work his way to the front here. As he's actually going to dive down momentarily down right behind the 5 of Tanner Mann. But he's not done yet. He's going to be going for 5th here through the tri-oval.
Challenges to the outside, the 94 with the paint scheme that Bill Elliott had on back in 1987 to break the all-time speed record at this track at an average of 212 miles an hour. The race tonight named after such an event for the world's fastest lap, 212.089. Trying to get the job done. Watch out in front of him, Jason Altmans. Sideways, that 51 Best by Ford has been having a great run, minding his own business, holding the bottom, being up front, that it's working so far. The 94, not quite as easy as an evening. Started in 12th, had fallen back, and is just now making his appearance. This time by, will have 25 laps to go. Oh, Walford, he's down in the grass. The 7, look out, back up on track. That's a big checkup, sideways. How did they save that?
I don't know about how they saved it, but right now the big story, look at the 51 going to the lead, but there's still 3 wide back there. It's a 3-car breakaway up front in a chaotic situation in the back. Wofford drops all the way back to 15th as he's going to get taken out. Caution flag is out. Wofford's in it down through the back stretch.
Well, you'll take a look at this one. The 7, heavy black smoke pours out of the back of that Chevrolet. The caution flag is out, and it's one of those 3 wide spots that they saved it. But again, as Jared was talking about, the battle up front, but they were still 3 wide back at the back. This one of those cases where the 7, he just gets turned. Again, it's just a guy getting loose up on the top side of the racetrack when they come through turn number 2. There's nothing that Wofford can do. He avoided catastrophe. And then next thing you know, Sean Turner up on the outside of the racetrack, that car just breaks sideways, comes down and hits him, takes those guys out, and just like that, a 2-car incident in the 7, really getting a big look. That's how quickly your fortunes can change.
Yeah, that was a tough break right there for the 7. I mean, this all started back at the start-finish line when the 7 of Wofford got a little help from Jason Altmans and got hit from behind. Altmans had a great run. Tried to get up on the high side, just clipped the 7 a little bit. Wofford was able to hang on to it. Everybody scattered around him, and then thought you were in the clear, but then coming off of turn 2, blindsided from the top side, and unfortunate for him. Able to drive this thing back around, so he's not going to get a tow here. So that's probably the good thing for Wofford. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe he probably still has his quick reset. I don't think we've called him in any accident here so far tonight. So maybe Rodney Wofford still has an opportunity to get himself back up to the front.
Well, every car is going to be coming down pit road this time by with only about 20, it looks like about maybe 23 laps to go. So this is going to be the final pit stop for these guys, and they got to make it a good one here. And we're going to see a few guys take no tires, maybe some pit strategy coming into effect. And it's definitely going to come into effect for the 71 of Christian Peterson. He is already off pit road by a good length. It looked like it was just a gas and go for him.
Yeah, it was. The target ticket machine comes down, gets gas. That's all he's interested in, and he goes back out on the racetrack. So Peterson, the efficiency is going to ensure that he still has that top spot set. The Merchant 4 tires is going to be able to exit the pit lane in second. Rod Flag, Josh Ball, the drivers that have stayed out. Guys, the 48 just in an accident. He's now leading this race. He may come down the next time, but talking about, again, a change of fortune in just a couple of laps right now. He's the highest car on track after staying out.
Yeah, it did a great, like I said, he was able to get his car fixed, get back out there, got his lap back. So Josh Ball, we've seen that he was fast all night long, worked well with the 7 car earlier on in this race up front. Wofford came down. He was able to get his car fixed. So that 7 car now definitely has some work to do to get back through the field here. But if anyone can do it, the previous winner this season, Rodney Wofford, definitely could be the guy to do it.
So working under our 5th caution flag at the moment, and it is again Josh Ball who stays out to go to the top spot in this one. Peterson, DeMerchant, Henry, Piscini sit through the top 5 at the moment. This restart should be coming up 21 laps to go. Right in that mix, it is going to be 22 to go this time by. All eyes go to the base car. Lights on the base car stay on. So at least 2 more circuits around before we get back green. We'll take that opportunity to step away for a moment. The restart coming up, and when it does, we'll be 3/4 of the way through round number 7 on the year. Getting down to the race for the checkered flag. Back in a moment from Dega.
Did you know that Lion's sense of vision is so powerful, it actually enables nearby creatures to see better? Here we see lions assisting the offspring of others, while their parents are elsewhere in the wild. Brilliant, isn't it? Making the wild kingdom look much better indeed. Do good, be a lion.
Back live, it's going to line up for exactly just at 20 laps to go as we close in on the end of feature race number 7. World's fastest lap, 2:12.089 underway here at Talladega as part of LSRTV's coverage of the iSuperSpeedway.com racing series. Josh Ball stays out to the top spot. A couple of guys gas and go. Track position by far and large now the name of the game.
Yeah, these guys got to get to the point now. 20 laps to go. You want to stay up front. If you want to win this thing, you got to be up front at the right time. A couple guys having some issues the last time. Rodney Wofford getting in that most recent wreck. He's got his work cut out for him to get up to the front. But other guys that had trouble early that have made their way back up to the front, we'll keep an eye on the 88 of Mark Jorgensen Jr. He's up to 8th now.
Well, don't expect anybody right now to give up anything. With only 20 laps to go, this is just a little baby shootout right now. Pace car ducks on to pit road. We're about to go green, Evan.
Pace car out of the way, 20 laps to go. Still well in enough time for a couple of more cautions. How would that possibility dictate the end of this one. Green flag flies, back and away we go. 20 laps to go at Talladega. Outside with the run, Peterson. Can he get clear? Not close. The 48, watch out, because he got cut off on the drop of the first green flag. It almost did there. The 71 thought about it, but didn't have a shot.
And here comes a 42 now. Seth the Merchant giving a nice little push to the 48. Josh Ball pushes him out to the front now. Here the 71 on the outside. Peterson waiting for a little help from Corey Henry. Here he comes. Here comes Jorgensen with a bold move to the bottom side there. Jorgensen didn't leave much room to spare right there as he jumps down into the bottom side now. That's in the 5th position. He's trying to get around the 71.
How in the world did Jorgensen know that there was going to be a spot there? I mean, Pileski, the number 93, just had to have said, where in the world did that come from? Because he was nowhere near the number 93 and somehow got a good run and was able to make that stick. And right now, that's another Henrik car that's up there, and they're now going to be together as the 42 jumps out of line. He's going to try to go for the lead here down the backstretch.
48 needs a push from the 88 teammates down low, and it's going to be clear for the 42. Seth the Merchant, he does it again. That time in turn number 3. Meanwhile, the 71 of Peterson continues to slip. The 51 of Oltmans with a bobble in turn number 3. He as well will slide back as they go through the corner. And now to the top side go the 48 and the 88. They weren't able to defend, but the offensive will be too much. How about 2-3 cars getting clear? 48 to the race lead. Jorgensen to second. Passini can take third if he backs off and gets in line. He may want to, though, lead the outside and go back at him. That's what he wants.
Passini with a power move now with Corey Henry giving him the push. Here comes the 96. Also, Chad Keene getting in the mix. All teammates to the outside. They're trying to get it done as the 48 tries to hang on to it on the bottom side. Jorgensen's there. Seth the Merchant right behind him. They're going to be able to hang on, at least for now. Passini not able to clear him. It's a drag race now to the start-finish line.
This is the first time all season we have seen the team factor come into play. You've got the 48 and the 88, the Henrik Chevrolets. You've got the 1, the 96, and the 12, the Big City Motorsports guys. And you've got the 71 and the 42, the Wicked Auto Sports affiliates. And these guys are showing right now how big the team factor can come into play as you come to the ending laps here. Right now, you got Jorgensen on the outside. He's going to take advantage of his teammate as he's going to go on the outside to the lead down into 3.
Right there is a perfect analogy of what we have seen with the teams all season long. They work together, but when it comes down to it, you got to worry about yourself. Contact at 96, Chad Keene. He gets hit at a 4. He will hang on in the Oakley Chevrolet as he blends back
88
up.
Jorgensen's around. Seth the Merchant's around. Caution, big trouble. Big trouble up front. 8, 1, 8,
Now
9,
the
10,
caution.
11, 12 cars. The whole field is in it.
And it took a long time for the caution to come out. Finally, it does. And a huge accident down across the start-finish line takes out a good percentage of the field and all of that as they duck and dive to get around it. I'm sure there'll be a couple of exciting onboards to sneak through. Some of the drivers that get through: Stephanie Lessentine, Ramon Evans, Chad Keene, Derek Walker. Some of the excitement as far as who's able to find a way through and try to sneak into this one. You'll take a look at the replay. I'm sure you'll take a look at some couple of angles here, guys. Possibility of a caution flag coming out late. Yep, and when it does so, it's the big one.
I think that's more than just a big one right there, Evan. A lot of guys getting involved. A lot of action happening. A little action in the back or in the middle of the pack started. And then all of a sudden the guys in the front, they didn't want to be left out. They get involved again in the tri-ovals. Cars just getting loose. And the 88 right there having some issues. It wasn't the first time we've seen that tonight. And unfortunately, everyone else caught up into that. Altman's into the wall high on the outside. A bunch of cars, just a lot of sheet metal, a lot of banged up cars now. And of course, most all of these guys now are definitely out of their resets. So you're going to see a lot of cars on pit road trying to get some damage fixed.
Well, now this is going to be very interesting because we're probably about to see a lot of cars that have not been up front all night have their shot at going for this win. One of them, person who got through that lick, was a 43, a Stephanie Lessenteach. She made a great move getting around all those cars and now finds herself in the 6th position. Another car who we find who didn't get any damage, number 83. Well, actually, he's going into the pits, but actually, the number 8 of Dana Osborne, another car who had a lot of trouble early in the race, and now finds himself back up here. He's in the 4th position, looking to contend for this win. And finally, one last person, the number 93 of James Pileski. He has not been in a race all season long, sitting in 3rd in one of the biggest races of the year.
And now you kind of reset. You take a look again at another angle of that one. We reset. We went back with 20 to go. Now you got to reset. It's going to be with about 10 to go. 10 laps to go gives you the opportunity for one additional caution flag, but not much more than that, not much less than that. We already know that the track position game is what these guys are going to be playing, because that's what they have been doing since the last 2 cautions. That is taking gas and go only. Because typically, tires aren't normally a huge thing at a restrictor plate. If there's a night you're going to get tires at a restrictor plate, it's now, because these cars are loose. So for them to really be going gas only, you can tell that they are in dire need of track position, because they don't really know how to make the moves and have that car stay underneath them. Because again, they have mastered the setup. But again, we've gone through a couple of sim changes and updates on the sim, different draft models that they fought through. You get a handle on something, a setup mixes things up a little bit. It takes time to readjust. The fact that we're seeing guys go gas only, you rarely see that. What that tells me is that these guys aren't really comfortable with what they can do with the car.
Yeah, it shows a frustration maybe in the cockpit of these cars for these guys here tonight. Loose setup to begin with. Trying anything they can. You know, some of these guys are probably trying 2 tires to see if they made the car better. Trying no tires to see if, you know, that will help. Probably trying a bunch of different things just to find that right combination that's going to get them to the finish line here tonight. And, you know, lots of different types of things. And like you said, with the tires, the new model, the track wearing out, the heat in the track now, that's going to keep making it slicker. Tires are probably at a premium at this point, but at the same time, track position with only 10 or more laps left to go in this thing, it's kind of one of them things you weigh the pros and the cons and hope you make the right decision when it's all over.
Well, you've seen all guys on pit road. I've seen guys like Christian Peterson. I've been actually watching him throughout the entire time when he goes into pit every single time. He's tried everything. He's tried no tires. He's tried 2 tires. He's tried 4 tires. He's tried, from what I understand over the radio, he's tried tires, no gas. So it's just a different combination of things. You got to find what works. And with this fixed setup, there's only really so much you can do to make these cars different and to make their handling a little bit different. So in my opinion, these guys, I like the setup idea. I like the idea of the setup being a lot looser and a lot harder to control. But there needs to be, in my opinion, a little bit more practice time on this. And these guys probably need a little bit more, maybe a week more to get used to it. And we wouldn't see as many cautions as we've seen tonight.
And the cautions, you know, they come in waves. You'll get a race where you get very few. Tonight, one of them where you're seeing a little bit on the higher end of such. And again, it is adverse conditions with these cars. And it's not the weather, it's not the track, it's the setup this time, which again, keeps things fresh and exciting. The drivers, you know, I guess to a point, Andy, I mean, they got to be getting tired almost. You know, you're going on of an hour and 20 minutes since you started this race. So, you know, you're getting there, up there, and, you know, you look at these guys, what this is they are on the wheel every single time. A lot of the time you go through the tri-oval at some tracks, and again, you could argue that the tri-oval, a turn in and of itself, crack your knuckles, you stretch out. Here, there are very few places tonight, besides maybe the back straightaway, where you've been able to rest, because that car can break sideways at any moment. So the cautions are kind of helping. But, I mean, it is, you know, mentally tasking to be up on a wheel, to be going at it every single time. But as well, the cautions help with that, but the cautions make it very difficult for you to get in a rhythm also.
Yeah, they take the rhythm out of it. You're right, but at the same time, I talked about it at the beginning of the race. These type of races, the endurance races, you got to be focused. You got to stay, up on the wheel, like you said, the whole race. There's not one point of this race that you can, take a break or take a breather at all, because how fast these cars are running. Now you throw in a different type of setup, a slicker one. Cars are loose. That just puts them up on the wheel even more. Tired, that's probably an understatement, I think, for a lot of these guys, especially a bunch of these guys ran a truck race earlier, too, at a slick place like Chicago. So, yeah, I mean, you're definitely, fatigue's definitely going to eventually come into play here.
Well, I know for a fact that I'm getting tired up here. After running the race down there, it took a lot out of me earlier tonight in the truck race, and it does, even though we're not down there, it does take a lot out of us right here on up in the booth. So I know if we're tired up here, they're going to be tired down there, but it doesn't really matter what happens right now. We got 10 laps to go. Pace car dives off, and we are about to go green, Evan.
For a lot of the guys on the East Coast, they continue to race deep into the night as we get set to go back green. Green flag flies, back and away we go, and across the start-finish line, it is the inside Josh Ball. Good restart from being on the control car position. He'll take the early advantage down to turn 1. Problem for him is no immediate help. He waits for the 93. How about James Pileski? Started 16th, he's in 4th. How about Dana Osborne? Started 25th, he's in 3rd. These guys peaking at the right time. You just want to make sure it's not too early. This next time by, just 10 laps to go. And at 48 slides up, trying to kill the momentum at the top side. He can't do it. Look at that. Chris Massini. What a move to get that spot. Ball behind them, the 82 of Dan Harrington. He'll get shuffled out of line.
And he's going to get shuffled way out of line as they're 2x2 all the way back to about 20th spot right now. So Harrington definitely in a place that he doesn't want to be as the battle for the lead continues to heat up. Bassini moves back up to the high side to catch that 8 car. They almost make contact right there. Josh Ball able to get the lead back on that bottom side there. He's got a little bit of help from that 93. That 93 looking real powerful right now. And watch out for the 43 of Stephanie Lessentine right behind those guys as they're at the top side again with a power move right now. Osborne, a big push to Bassini heading into 3.
Huge push by number 8 of Dana Osborne. Bassini goes back
5's
to
in
the
the
lead,
fence.
and I got word that the 5 was in the fence there, but Bassini still will not go to the bottom. Now that's an interesting move. If it were me, I would go to the bottom, but then again, if you want to hold back the likes of some of these other guys, like 71 coming up there, right there, he's actually going to take to the inside of Dana Osborne right there. He looked for a second, didn't make it, but if you want to keep those guys at bay, it might be in your best interest to stay on the high side for as long as you can until you have to drop down like you just did there.
Well, I wasn't too sure about the move of Bassini to go up top. He comes back down, though, after getting that big push. And once again, take over the race lead. That makes it number 93 of Pileski. 3rd car in line on the bottom. 4th car in line on the bottom. The number 43 of Stephanie Lessentine. So what can Dana Osborne do? Trying to get up, get through this field right now. He leads the outside charge. Dana still looking for a trip to victory lane if he wants to get into this championship conversation. Very underrated driver, has strong runs, does not get the results many a time that I feel that 8 Machine could. Can he capitalize and take advantage of the situation? He's now got help. Peterson to the back bumper. 48, though, he wants to slide out. Not going to be able to do it. 8 goes high. 48 tries to come down. There's no room. Pileski going to force the 48 to the middle.
Yeah, big free-wide action right now. Little contact. 48 gets a little contact right there. Going to open up the bottom lane.
Front. The 8 car Osborne sideways contact. There they all go. 64 up into the outside wall. Around goes the 12 of Corey Henry. They wreck at a turn number 4. Caution flag is out yet again. And this will set you up for one final restart. And there's a lot to talk about on this one. It all starts with the 48 of Josh Ball. He goes up because he wants to join the outside momentum. They ain't having any of that. Pileski ain't having any of that. And if I'm the 93, I don't force it to the bottom, but he gets into the 1. That causes a checkup. Dana gets clear, but no, he wasn't. Comes down on the 1 of his sheet. He'll claim responsibility for the incident, but again, just not clear. We saw a similar thing happen earlier with Giratano. The 48 cut him a break. No lifting in that case, and the 8 car comes down too soon, showing the desperation, and he really needed that spot. Goes with the gut instinct, it doesn't work, and there's a big accident.
Yeah, that was a huge accident right there late in the race. Couple cars I'm really surprised about got through there really nicely. The 43 car, she's done a great job all night long of avoiding these wrecks. Very quietly been stuck up there in the top 5, avoiding wrecks, doing a great job there. But man, yeah, just trying to force your issue. You know it's getting down to the end. You don't want to be stuck by yourself in the lane. If that happens, you know you're dropping straight to the back. Then your chances of getting back up to the front are slim to none. So forcing some issues early here, trying to get it done. Osborne, I think, thought he was clear in front of the 1 car. He wasn't, and that's all she wrote for that one.
Yeah, that was definitely all she wrote there. And Osborne, I mean, he just can't really catch a break. I know we always say this about him. He's always a bridesmaid, never a bride. And unfortunately, the curse might continue tonight for Dana Osborne. Again, we have not yet seen him take an A main feature win. He has been deserving. Has he been deserving? Yes, he has. But it's just not ever come to light. And I feel bad for that number 8, as he's got some pretty significant damage on the left-hand side of his car, and I don't think that's going to be able to lead this pack. And just, God, I really feel bad for the Dana Osborne, as he had a great run. I don't think that's going to be quite enough for him, though.
The question is now, is there any give and take left in the tank? It's going to be a restart with less than 5 laps to go. A ticket to the championship may be on the line. You're not going to want to miss this one. We'll step away for one final time during racing conditions. When we come back, the final restart and a checkered flag to be handed out for the world's fastest lap, 2:12.089 from Talladega. Back in a moment. You're watching LSRTV.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among.
Once its sights are set, nothing can stop the ferocious lion from capturing its prey. Relying on keen senses, lions search patiently before striking with alarming speed. Wait for it. Gotcha, Mr. Piece of Rubbish. He is truly the master of his environment. Do good. Be a lion.
Well, the stage is set as we welcome you back into the virtual Talladega Super Speedway. Evan Pasoko, Andy Kessler, Jared Haggerty along for the ride. And a ride it will be. Lights off on top of the pace car. We get set to go back at it for one final time. We'll take lap number 78. We'll have 79 and 83 laps to go at the start-finish line. You got guys running out of fuel. You got guys inside the top 5 with cars that look like they could end up on the front-end loader at the end of the race, but they're trying to make it to the end at Talladega. They say the draft is a great equalizer, but we saw how much of a hindrance some small front-end damage was earlier. What chance do Josh Ball and Dana Osborne stand, and can Tanner Mann win this race? 3 laps to go. A caution flag would end it at any point unless we get the white flag.
Well, he's got a good chance. Damage on those other guys, but, you know, being behind a car like Josh Ball, he's behind the 5. He's got a little front-end damage, but being behind in the draft, it might not, it shouldn't affect him too much as long as he stays there. Giving him a chance possibly to come out of turn 4 with a last lap pass, maybe to pull off a win here. So for now, I think cars like the 48 need to stay in line, stay behind the guys in front of them to keep that damage from affecting their speed.
Well, this is actually going to be really interesting because you got the guys on the inside, the 5 and the 48, who are teammates, but you got the 5 with no damage and the 48 with damage. So Josh is not going to be able to push Tanner. But the problem is, on the outside, you got the person in front with damage and the person behind them with no damage. So this is pretty much going to be a good barn burner here. Pace cars on pit lane as we come to the green, Evan.
The pace car down and away. Tanner Mann trying to come back and storm the ship and win it. Green flag flies. Not a good restart, though. The outside. Dana Osborne gets the jump. Can he get clear to turn 1? He's got it. Down in front and takes over the race lead. That leaves now Stephanie Lessentine, the lead car on the outside. If she gets a push, can she get it done in 1 and 2?
Oh, well, she's got some big help. Here comes, and it's actually going to be the 5 of Tanner Mann. Tanner Mann's going to be taking the lead on the outside.
Huge run.
The outside, it's got a huge run. Tanner Mann's not going to have any help, but now Stephanie comes down on the inside. And look who's on the outside. Where did Justin Anderson come from? The number 7.
Turn, big contact, that's it. Big trouble in 3 and 4. Tanner Mann is going to win at Talladega. Stephanie Lessentine will take a second, and it looks like limping home. Josh Ball may get a third, but the caution flag in turn number 4. Again, the outside, a big run, a lot of speed, and eventually it had to slow down at some point, and one guy pushing on the next guy, pushing on the next guy, pushing on the next guy. You can't push in the corner. Eventually, that was going to happen, and the 10 just got spit out of line. Hooks the 8, hooks the 77. Absolute carnage.
I'm listening over the radio right now. Tanner is elated right now. What a win from the number 5. He has not won since he has been in this series. This is a big win for him, big win for Henrik, and a big win for the guys in the ISS.
Well, some drivers won't finish those final 3 laps. You'll take a look at the replay there. Starting from the back straightaway, the 43 and a couple of shots at this one. Looked like she would lead the outside charge. The race-winning move comes from Tanner Mann, who forces his way up top. The 8 tried to block the line, couldn't do it. 43 pushes that 5-man through, and then Lessentine, instead of sticking up top, drives down to the bottom, finds a spot in line, setting up the 5 for a pass, and then the contact on the outside of the racetrack as the outside stalled out in. That's where all the trouble happens, and, you know, I thought we saw the big one already, but that one definitely takes the cake. I think at least 3 different guys up and over. Josh Ball just trying to make it limp to the end of this one as they take the white flag. The car through a cheese grater, but he tries to make it through. Tanner Mann 1 lap away if he can complete it under caution from getting that victory.
Man, I feel really bad for Stephanie. If she would have stayed up there, she would have had the run and would have gotten that win there. But a good run for her. She ends up second, and yeah. Guys in the top 3 are very deserving. Josh Ball, look at that car, has no fuel hardly at all, and he is pretty much going to come in a third position. He got wrecked twice, at least 3 times, and still comes away with a third.
That's a great job right there. That's called survival right there at its best. The 48 getting the job done, coming home on the podium. A great job by him. I think a couple of these cars might be close to being out of fuel. As you can see, the 43, Stephanie Lessentine, actually, I think she's killing the motor right there, kind of coasting. So just trying to make it back around here. A couple more corners. She's on the apron right now, making sure that fuel stays in the pickup. So a couple of guys, I think Josh Ball's in the same predicament there too. So yeah, tough way to finish these things. You don't want to finish them under caution, but some great racing and some huge, spectacular wrecks we've had here tonight. It's been one of those wild Dega nights.
Hey, look at the Andy. Look at that old Zelda car coming up in the top 5 there. Yeah, I actually am proud of Dan Harrington. He did a great job. But they're coming through the tri-oval now. It's all the number 5 of Tanner Man, Evan.
Ball, one of the guys that limps home. Harrington going to limp home as well. Wofford in 5th position, not going to make it to the stripe. I think he loses the engine shy of the tri-oval. That'll shuffle things up. One thing that won't change is the race lead. Tanner Man, checker in yellow fly, a winner in the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series. Talk about a return, winning the world's fastest lap, 2:12.089. He'll take the checkered flag and a big congratulatory shunt from the 48 teammate from behind. You don't have to crack the back of the car for this one. It's already been done. He'll celebrate, but a huge win for Tanner Man. And I will dust the hands off because the pick that I made goes on and wins this one, Andy. So I guess that means that Jared's pick has to win next week if we're slowly starting to break through on these things.
I don't know. I mean, my curse. Yeah, we broke the curse for you, but my curse is yet to be broken. So
to be fair, I think that's at least 2 now that I've gotten right. I'd say that's a pretty good batting average I'm working with.
Yeah, so 2 out of the 7 races you've won.
It.
You got.
We need to start doing some.
Blue Jays did.
We need to start doing some fantasy here. We got to get into that. We'll think about it.
Oh, we need to start having our picks posted up there and see what we can do, like DWs and stuff on.
Yeah,
let's see the 5.
Speedway, fantasy.
Well, we did last year in the Pro Series. We did picks and then we did points from that. So who knows? I mean, maybe we should, just to be fair to you guys, so you don't get embarrassed. But the 5 car showing him up. He celebrates on the front straightaway. Tanner Man, nothing to look back on. Your winner tonight at Talladega, joined by a couple of his teammates and friends on the front straightaway. And I'm sure the celebration will not end here as he set to bring that car to the virtual victory lane. The party will continue long into tonight. We'll talk to him, Lessentine, Ball, and your top 3 finishers back from Talladega in a moment. Your winner, though, is Tanner Man.
But here comes Gregor Hutu into Canada corner for the final time. Just 2 corners left to go before he finally makes himself a triumphant return back to victory lane. He has led 38 laps of this event here today, and Gregor Hutu once again is a winner. Gregor Hutu will work himself through the Cobra Parabolica. He will claim his 46th victory in iRacing.com World Championship competition. Gregor Hutu, for the 2nd race in a row, reigns supreme.
The one thing that I think is the most important is we've been racing this Ground Championship Series for quite some time now, a very long time even at that, and he is the only driver to have ever won a professional road race at Watkins Glen.
But there is nothing that could crack that finish, number 1 team Redline driver. Gregor Hutu worked himself out the final corner, and just as he did in 2010, 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, in 2015, Hutu once again wins at Watkins Glen.
Hutu will come across the line and takes the win for round 7 here at Virginia International Raceway.
Here he comes now, just 3 corners left to go, into Brooklands for the final time, into Luffield for the final time. Never ever say that Gregor Hutu is beaten, because he just comes back bigger, he comes back stronger, he wins round number 9 of the World Championship Series, 49th win of his career. If you're the world's greatest sim racing driver, you can do it with your statements on the road courses. Do it when it matters. Out of the final corner for the final time, number 50 for Gregor Hutu, out of the final corner. At the top of the broadcast, we said if Hutu could win here today, he could well cement himself as the championship favourite. Gregor Hutu, the number 1 machine, back to victory lane, win number 51. Hutu is inching closer rapidly to his 5th, and yes, I say that correctly, his 5th World Championship. Out of the bus stop chicane comes the number 1 Team Redline driver. Gregor Hutu will win here at Circuit Spa Francorchamps. Yes, you may be behind a computer with a steering wheel and a set of pedals, but for these drivers, this is as close as they may ever get to racing in real life. It will be Gregor Hutu coming past the line. He is a 5-time world champion. Gregor Hutu wins the championship one more time. He is the greatest driver in the history of open wheel racing here at iRacing.com, and dare I say it, he is the greatest open wheel champion in the history of sim racing.
Back live at the Talladega Superspeedway as we welcome you into the LSRTV post-race show after round number 7. It is Tanner Mann who, for the second time, is in an iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series victory lane, winning tonight and getting himself the eligibility to get into the chase. Problem is, with the limited starts, he's going to need some points. We'll talk to him about that in a moment. However, down trackside with our 3rd place finisher, I pass it to Jared Haggerty.
Yeah, I got our 3rd place finisher. It's going to be the number 48 of Josh Ball. Josh, what a run by you. I mean, you got wrecked earlier in the race and somehow got wrecked again and was able to work your way back up through the field. How was that run? How did you end up in 3rd there?
Jared, I'm not really sure. Yeah, to be honest, early in the race, I got in that the wreck. I got turned in turn 3 or whatever. Went back and looked at it. Just a little bit of bumper hook, but anyway, I kind of took a gamble midway through the race. After that, I took no tires and no fuel, and was able to propel myself back to the front. And that kind of really set me up for that last run, basically.
Well, it definitely sets you up, but let me go back to one thing that we all noticed here in the booth. We noticed that all the cars were extremely loose tonight, and it seemed like it was just like you were riding on an ice sheet. Did you notice that, or was that a big theme that played with all the drivers throughout the chat tonight?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you go back and watch, there was a couple times where I think at the beginning of the race, I took 2 tires and you were super loose in the tri-oval, but then I was pushing bad off of the turns, and I started to have to lift about, I think midway through the race, I was lifting on exit of the corners and part in the tri-oval. I think at one point I almost caused a big wreck. I think 2 cars spun out. I just drifted up and I just, the car was just loose, tight. Compared to last week, we're in a cloudy conditions last week, a lot of overcast. The car was, a little bit more grip on the racetrack, whereas this week it was a little bit warmer. The sun was out. So it was a little bit slicker. We used the same setup. So I think that was the biggest reason why we had a lot of guys spinning out tonight.
Well, we actually thought it was the setup. Y'all had a different setup, but guess the weather and on these new dynamic tracks is showing its effects. Have you noticed any big effects with the new dynamic tracks? Not along with the setup, but in general on the track.
Basically, just like what I just pointed out, Jared. I know you race in the truck series, and we swap back and forth for the broadcast booth, so I know you understand as well. But I think it's just week in, week out. It's in the iSuperSpeedway. The setup's the same, but the track changes. We go based on track conditions about the time that we're going to race. So, 1 week if it's cloudy and muggy or cloudy and overcast, you got a cool track. It's not going to be as loose as it was tonight when it was just hot or warm and sunny. So the dynamic track is definitely making it more interesting. Tonight we were a lot looser. It was fun to drive. We had a couple big wrecks. I'm sure you guys saw. So, but it was definitely fun out there. It was definitely more of you have to drive the car. We had to drive the car a lot tonight.
Well, Josh, you did great as always. And up here in the broadcast booth, we know what you go through down there on the track. Anyway, sponsors and shout outs. Who makes it happen for you tonight?
Well, I got to thank my sponsor, Lowe's. I have on the car every week. Breast cancer awareness this month. Pink, running that all month. Last week, got a good win. Here, teammates, Jorgensen, Hanner. Tanner, man, great win for him tonight. I'm glad to see him back out there. Great friend of mine. One of my best friends, and I was ready to push him to the win no matter what. And Stephanie Lissentane was able to help out and get Tanner's second win of his career. So otherwise, I had a good night. And thanks, guys, for coming out again. Rod putting on the league, LSRTV, and everybody else.
We thank you, Josh Ball. That's the number 48 Lowe's Chevrolet Henrik machine of Josh Ball. And I think Andy now has caught up with our second place finisher down there on pit road.
That's right. Thank you, Jared. I am down here on pit road with the driver of the number 43. That's Stephanie Lessendine. Stephanie, your highest finish so far here at iSuperSpeedway. And I swear to God, you must have dodged more accidents than anyone else out there tonight. What was it like for you out there?
I have to agree with you there. I did dodge a lot. I think I might have had a heart attack at least twice in this race. It's a big change of event from what I've had for the last 2 weeks, where we've been on the trailer early. So that was insane. I can't wait to go back and watch the replay, because from my perspective, I think I don't even know how I willed it through those wrecks.
It was a pretty wild night. Everyone's talked about it so far. Kind of a loose setup, hot and slick out there. Through the trial, we saw a lot of guys have problems on that bottom side. We've seen a lot of corner exit issues all night long. Do you think it was a product of, maybe it could have been both, driver impatience, or do you think it was more of just a combination with the slick conditions out there and just everyone trying different things with two tires, no tires, trying to find whatever would work to maybe help them tighten that car up?
I think it was a combination of just about everything out there. Hot, slick track. Setup was a little touchy through the tri-oval. I learned really quick early on in the race that you cannot be turning the wheel through the tri-oval, and you wanted to go straddle those dash lines through there. And if you missed the bump, you're pretty. So you can just keep it straight through there. You're golden.
We did a great job here tonight. Your highest finish so far this season. Who helped you make it happen here tonight here at Talladega?
I just want to thank StemSemX for coming on board the car tonight, and Alan Elwood for painting a very awesome ride.
That's awesome. Well, congratulations again. Great finish. Give you a little momentum heading into the weeks to come.
Thank you.
There you have it. Second place finisher here tonight in the 43, Stephanie Lessendine. But I believe Evan, again, is soaked for the second time tonight in victory lane. And I don't think this party's going to end anytime soon.
It'll continue on through the day, and he said he's bringing the car back to the track today, and I think he was running in 5th. When we asked for predictions, I said the 5's in P5. That looks pretty good to me. Gets the job done for his second career iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series win. Tanner Rand gets the job done tonight at Talladega, and we catch it with him now. Tanner, first off, big congratulations to you. Great to see that fourth Hendrick car out there on the track. You get the win. Before I talk about the technicalities of the win and the championship and all of that, walk us through this race, 20th to 1st, and it wasn't as simple as just passing 19 cars. That was a crazy race to get through.
It was very crazy. After the first caution, the first pit stop, I was able to make up a lot of ground on pit road, and as you saw, I got up to P5 there, and unfortunately got wrecked out, but was able to come back. Got some lucky breaks through there, thankfully, which is all you need here at these plate tracks, and was able to pull it out. The car was really loose all night going through the tri-oval. I battled it throughout the night, and, I'm very happy to be here.
On a restart there, you lose the lead going into turn 1. Did you think you were done?
I did not. I saw how much damage the A-car had on his front, and I knew what I had behind me, so I knew I had enough room to get up top there and make the pass, and just hope for the best after that.
You were able to get out in front, 43 ducked in behind you, then the caution flag comes out, you take the checker and the yellow together, and I'm sure you won't object in any manner how you get that third start on the season, you get a win. Now is where things get interesting, because we look towards the win category, and now you have a number there, which gets yourself into the iSuper Chase. Problem is, you need to get some more points. Right now, I think you're 29 points out of where you need to be in the point standings to be able to use that win to get yourself onto the iSuper Chase grid. So 3 starts through 7 races so far, if you're counting just regular season races. You look forward now, we have quite a handful still before the chase starts. So we're going to see the 5 machine back out here and running, getting those points, and then who knows, fighting for a title in a month or two?
You got it, Evan. You'll see the 5 car at the track a bunch now. This is huge to get this win and get us in contention for the chase. We'll crack the top 30 in points and hopefully go from there and, hopefully win a championship. That's the ultimate goal now.
We may or may not have to refer to you as Kyle Busch. I'm not sure how you'll feel about that one, but nonetheless, you get the job done, and again, coming through when you need it, you got the win. You know what's at task now, and who knows, get another win, make it easier, and pat onto that going into the championship. Tanner, sponsors, shout-outs, and I know everybody at the team. Who do you want to thank for making this possible? Your second career win, last one stemming all the way back to the inaugural season.
I definitely want to thank my best friend, my brother, Josh Ball. He's a huge person for me. Mr. Joshua Hanner, of course, and Hanner Motorsports. And can't forget Mark Jorgensen, and, of course, Mr. Flagg for putting on the league. And it's all right with the Kyle Busch comment. It's fitting to have his scheme on there for tonight and what's developed now for me for going into the chase, or to strive for it. But it's also fitting with Casey Kane and his son Tanner being born, and Tanner actually getting the win tonight in the 5 car.
It's funny how things tend to work out that way sometimes. Again, thanks for sticking around and chatting with us, Tanner. I haven't been able to talk to you in victory lane, so it's a pleasure to have you down here again. A big congratulations to you. The stars aligned for you. You're a winner yet again here at Talladega. Best of luck, and we'll see you next Friday night.
Thank you, Evan. You all have a good week.
So I said that we had a little bit of voodoo, guys, going on with the truck race. 3 sets of back-to-back winners. Now Tanner Mann wins after in the 5 car for Hendrick Motorsports, and Hendrick Motorsports has all the Hendrick Motorsports cars. He wins in the 5. Casey Kane's son is born named Tanner. Tanner Mann wins. He's got a Kyle Busch paint scheme on. He's in a Kyle Busch scenario, and he had a crazy race on top of that. So it's been quite the strange night. I got my prediction right, so I'm okay with it.
I'm almost wondering if it's Halloween already or something. I know we're getting close.
I mean,
to
the devils are coming out.
You'd think it's past because everybody's already decorating for Christmas, but I'm not going to get on that rant now.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Every year it gets worse on that, but we'll stop.
No, but I'm surprised. I mean, the Tanner Man, the 5, he deserves this more than anybody. I mean, he comes.
Tanner Man, I like that. We need to call him that.
Tanner Man.
Yeah, well, his name's Tanner Man. Let's just call him Tanner Man. I dig it.
Tanner Man. It's just like that. Okay, Evan, we got it.
We'll put a cape on the car, the 5 machine again. Strong tonight, but I mean, these races start to, drain you because you expect to come in. Let's just get a normal race for 1 week. You can't have that. Every race has got its own unique characteristic. This one was a theme of survival and we're going over on our time here, so we got to wrap things up. So I'll go down to you first, Jared. Final thoughts on what was yet again another crazy night out at Talladega. And we were here last week at Talladega for feature races, and as well in 1 week's time, not points racing, we're going all-star racing from Talladega.
Well, final thoughts on tonight. I mean, you heard it from Josh Ball himself. I mean, he said they didn't change the setup. The only thing that changed was the weather condition. So it turns out this dynamic track is coming into play like a lot more than we thought it would when it comes to the heat and the buildup on these cars and what it can do with the setup. As far as next week, looking forward to the All-Star race. Everybody's just going to be going for the cold hard cash there. Andy, I'll throw it down to you.
Yeah, there's nothing better than an all-star race. You could throw points out the window. You don't need to worry about those. It's just all about the win. But when you talk about tonight, you can't help but think of guys like Peterson and Jorgensen and Flagg and all these guys, Hanner even, that always are up front, running up front, battling for wins week in and week out. And you look at all those names, and they're all the way at the bottom of the list here tonight. So when you're talking about crazy nights and these crazy races and nothing's really going to plan, I mean, you just look at the finishing order and where these guys all started up in the front. And outside of Rodney Wofford, who had a great bounce back to finish fifth tonight, everybody else came from the back half of the field, and they're up front. So, I mean, anything can happen in these races. The point standings, like Tanner was saying, he's got a lot of work cut out for him to get back up into the top 30 from missing some races. A win's definitely the way to jumpstart that, to get up there. But other than that, anything can happen at these tracks. We prove it week in and week out here with these races, and everything's up for grabs for anybody. And you got to be on top of your game week in and week out, and you got to stay focused if you want to get the job done, get into the chase, and then ultimately have a chance at the championship. So tonight was just another episode, I guess, as you could say, in this battle and in this championship hunt.
And with that analogy, we have a couple of more installments to go. And if you enjoy racing on Friday night, then we're not slowing down at all, because we don't have an off week for, I'm taking a look. I don't think we're off until the end of November before you have a Friday night off. So this is the place to be for the Friday night doubleheaders every single week on LSRTV with the Ron Car Truck Tour and the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series. That, though, wraps up our 7th installment on the season. And with that, we bid you farewell from the Talladega Superspeedway. On behalf of the broadcast crew tonight, for myself, Evan Pasocco, Andy Kessler, Jared Haggerty, and our executive producer, Laura Lawson, we thank you so much again for tuning in. And a big congratulations, Tanner Mann, getting the job done. Needs a couple of points, and he as well will join the names on the chase grid. Until next time, we bid you farewell again from Talladega Superspeedway. Not going to want to miss it. We'll see you next Friday night when we go all-star racing at Talladega once again. Good night.